There we go. Hello. And then, of course, the dog is playing behind me. Well, she's feeling better, that's for sure. Hang on, Instagram. I'm going to go live here. Instagram. There we go. All right, live on Instagram. Substack. I am going to... All right, almost there, guys. I'm going to move Substack over here, and then I'm going to start TikTok in 2 seconds. And then we are good. All right, Substack. There we go. Video, I am live. There we go. All right, hello, Substack. We are there. Excellent. All right, good. Substack is there, and now I just need to start TikTok, and then we're good. Good. Okay, that's not too bad. That wasn't too bad today. Man, she's improved. Let's see. You know, her legs are better. She's not perfect. Her legs were perfect yesterday. They're a little off today, but she's still doing very well, which is good. All right. TikTok, maybe a touch more light. I don't want to go nuts on the light, though, because it bothers my eyes. That's what the best we're going to do. That's already pretty bright. Hey, Frank in New Zealand. Welcome, everybody. John Aravosis here in Washington, D.C. Good amount of news today. Can you guys not hear? I'm going to do one more time. Hello, hello. Hold on. All right, TikTok, I just unplugged and replugged, so hopefully you can hear now. Let's see how it is on TikTok now. I just unplugged and replugged. Yeah. So TikTok doesn't always recognize my microphone. It's very strange. It seems sometimes I've got to go live first. I even unplugged and replugged before the show. Doesn't matter. I've got to go live, unplug the mic, put the mic back in, and then TikTok is happening. Like, whatever. Oh, TikTok's going back and forth, making me, now I'm normal. Okay. TikTok was making me red before. Anyway. Oh, there you go. What a surprise. So welcome, guys. John Aravosis here. We've got a lot of news today. I'm going to read you some news stories as well. There's an interesting story from the Wall Street Journal. Hillary Clinton has some really interesting... She testified today. She did the Epstein testimony today. Very, very interesting. The volume has not changed at all, Cliff, if that's what you're referring to. The volume is actually high today, and I've had it high for last week after you guys were complaining. So the volume has not changed at all. Anyway, oh, technology, so much fun. So let me get rolling here. So guys, welcome. I'm John Aravosis. This is my show. We cover the latest news. I am based in America, so I tend to be American. I tend to be America-focused. Soon to be Greek and American. Maybe that'll make me more international in my coverage. We'll find out. But I appreciate your gifts. Keep the gifts coming on TikTok, YouTube, etc. Substack, if you want to become regular subscribers, that's great. Paid subscribers, even better. Hey, Terry and Nelson. Let's get rolling. So yeah, keep the gifts coming, guys. I really appreciate it. Oh, pot of gold, Diana. Oh, that's kind of fun, actually. The rainbow ride. I was wondering what that was. Thank you for that, Diana. All right, guys, let's get rolling here. I wanted to start with Hillary Clinton's revenge. Or what did somebody just say on TikTok? Was it on TikTok? You had a very good, or YouTube, you had a very good alternate title for Hillary's revenge. You said the Epstein files. Oh, Epstein files, Hillary strikes back. That would have been a good one too, like the Empire Strikes Back, except of course she's not the Empire. But anyway, yeah, so the Republicans in Congress, oh, thank you, Marie. We have a dragon head on TikTok I had to humor. Hillary testified before the Republicans in Congress today, but it was the Republicans who forced her to testify. They are trying to distract attention away from Donald Trump on the Epstein scandal. Hillary Clinton's very good at this. She's not somebody you really want to testify. Let me read you from the Wall Street Journal. Hillary Clinton said she had no prior knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's wrongdoing and accused House Republicans of conducting a partisan fishing expedition as she sat Thursday for a closed-door videotaped deposition in front of a GOP-led House committee. Former Secretary of State said in her opening statement that she had no information to share about any criminal activity by the disgraced financier or his associate Ghislaine Maxwell, and she said the committee should instead be calling President Trump to give a deposition over his past relationship with Epstein. Quote, I do not recall ever encountering Mr. Epstein. I never flew on his plane or visited his island, home, or offices. I have nothing to add to that. She said, by the way, this is what I was saying. Her testimony could be really short and sweet because if she's never met the guy, she's going to say, I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. quote, "You have compelled me to testify, fully aware that I have no knowledge that would assist you, in order to distract attention from President Trump's actions and to cover them up despite legitimate calls for answers." Bill Clinton's testimony will be on Friday. I want to pull up really quick Hillary's damn good. You know, the Republicans did a good job of making her controversial and stuff. Damn smart woman. She would have been a fine president. I want to read you, she had a 4-page statement for the record for her testimony today on the Epstein stuff, and I want to read you much of the 1 page, okay? This is the 4 pages, this is 1 page. Secretary Clinton's opening statement. Infuriatingly, the Trump administration gutted the Trafficking in Persons Office at the State Department, cutting more than 70% of the career civil and foreign service experts who worked so hard to prevent trafficking crimes. The annual trafficking report required by law was delayed for months. The message from the Trump administration to the American people and the world could not be clearer. Combating human trafficking is no longer an American priority under the Trump White House. That is a tragedy. It's a scandal. It deserves vigorous investigation and oversight. A committee endeavoring to stop human trafficking would seek to understand what specific steps are needed to fix a system that allowed Epstein to get away with his crimes in 2008. A committee run by elected officials with a commitment to transparency would ensure the full release of all the files. This is Hillary Clinton's testimony today before the House committee about Jeffrey Epstein. It would ensure that the lawful redaction of those files protected the victims and survivors, not powerful men and political allies. It would get to the bottom of reports that the Department of Justice withheld FBI interviews in which a survivor accuses President Trump of heinous crimes. It would subpoena anyone who asked on which night there would be the wildest party on Epstein Island. That would be Elon Musk. It would demand testimony from prosecutors in Florida and New York about why they gave Epstein a sweetheart deal and chose not to pursue others who may have been implicated. It would demand that Secretary Rubio and Attorney General Bondi testify about why this administration is abandoning survivors and playing into the hands of traffickers. It would seek out officers on the front lines of this fight and ask them what support they need. It would put forth legislation to provide more resources and force this administration to act. 4 pages that was 1 page. 4 pages of Hillary Clinton. Bam, 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 bam. Oh my God. Basically, God bless her. She came before the committee and she said, "You're right. The Epstein matter, huge story, huge scandal. They need to all be in prison, and I want to know why you're not doing it. Why aren't you demanding testimony? Why are you not demanding, all these men come testify? Why are you hiding the files?" She honestly, if you're a Trump supporter who cares about Epstein, you're going to listen to her statement and go, yes, yes, yes. Good for her. And I love where she goes, "I don't know anything about the guy. I never met the guy. I never met Ghislaine Maxwell. And I don't know about any criminal wrongdoing. And I told you that, so I don't know why you even invited me here today to speak, because I have nothing to tell you." Which means all she's going to do is refer to that testimony. They're going to say, "Do you know anything about him and your husband?" "No, but I do know about him and Donald Trump. 4 different times the witness was interviewed and you hid the document." I mean, it's going to be a very lonely place on Epstein Island right now. Damn. Good for her. She nailed it, Mustard. She absolutely nailed it. Just amazing. No, Bill Clinton's going to be a little tougher because he's getting old. So I don't know how it's going to be for Bill Clinton, when he gets in front of the committee. Also, Bill Clinton likes to talk. Hillary's like, I keep forgetting, is Hillary a lawyer? I keep wanting to think she's a lawyer, but I'm forgetting now. Help me out, guys. I know she went to Yale, but is she a lawyer? Is she? Yeah, because okay, thank you. Because I keep thinking she's a lawyer, and she talks like a lawyer, and she testifies like a lawyer. Everybody's saying yes, okay. Very boom, 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 right? Just nails it. Remember during the Benghazi stuff, which was total BS. During Benghazi, she testified for like 11 hours. 11 hours, and she slayed them. Her JD was from Yale. Okay, that's what I thought it was Yale. Yeah. Her law degree was from Yale, 1973. That's what you know what? I remember that now because she graduated from Yale And I think she went right away and worked on the House impeachment hearings. I'm pretty sure, right? Because it was sort of the Watergate, not the impeachment, the Watergate hearings, which was kind of wild. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. So Hillary Clinton nailed them today on the Epstein stuff. Really freaking brilliant. We got a lot more news. We're going to move on in a second. Anything more on the Hillary stuff? I mean, we can talk about this at the end of the show too. I sort of like to go through the news first and then afterwards, obviously. But yeah, her statement's 4 pages long. I'm not going to really do more than that. Turn up the volume. There's no such. Yeah, ChatGPT is lying to you, Ernie. There's no such thing. StreamYard is having issues on YouTube where it's making the volume soft for some people. And ChatGPT said, oh, you can change the YouTube setting in StreamYard. Ain't no such thing in StreamYard. Literally, StreamYard, I either have it adjusted automatically or I adjust it. And when I adjust it, it's never loud enough. All right. Yeah, actually, YouTubers, I'm going to keep going. But on YouTube, folks, if anybody wants to write a quick comment and say how the volume is for you, I can at least glance and see. And also, it doesn't hurt the algorithm. So maybe even you guys on TikTok, maybe make a quick hello comment. It doesn't hurt the algorithm. Tap the screen on TikTok, too. I always forget to ask you guys to do that stuff. All that stuff helps. But yeah, Hillary rocks. Very smart woman. Very smart woman. Okay, so a lot of you guys are okay on YouTube. That's good. Yeah, so sorry if the volume isn't good for you on YouTube. TikTok, the volume's always okay. TikTok drives me nuts sometimes, but I will say the tech generally works, which is good. It can be, TikTok could kind of enter the 21st century a little bit if it wanted to, but it's still pretty good. Yeah, I can. Now, the only thing, let me ask you this. I can put my volume, I put my volume a touch louder. The only thing I want to be careful is for all the rest of you, TikTok, Discord, Substack, that I'm not too loud, or Facebook, that it's not kind of, low, bad quality too loud. Okay, it's no difference for you guys? Good. Okay, TikTok, YouTube, I did put it a little louder. Okay, that's fine then. Because I didn't want to, I've got it set, the volume's always at the same position. I have it marked with a piece of tape so that I know it's not the wrong setting. But thank you, Succeed. That would be a goat. It no longer shows me the damn gifts up here. Oh, you drive me crazy with this. Why do you not show me the gifts up here? Yeah, it's not going to show me the gifts. Okay, but that's a goat, is it not? Halloween? Excellent. Excellent. Where's Halloween? Halloween. Oh, that's Christmas. Halloween. Here's Halloween. Here's Halloween. Ah. One more time. But yes, no, I've got a very good microphone setup. It's the Joe Rogan microphone. Thank you, Penny, which is the Michael Jackson microphone from Thriller. It's a very high quality microphone, sure. But, the setup, you know what I mean? It doesn't guarantee that the quality is good enough. All right, back to the news. Luis wants the news. Okay, Luis, we're back to the news. ICE, this story just broke. Thank you, Kerrey. Pick which donkey, which goat you want. Hi, dog. Are you okay? We're not playing right now. This is absolutely the wrong time to play. I love you, but it's the wrong time to play. Okay? Seriously? Seriously? I know. Hi. Do I have to pick you up and piss you off? My very elderly dog is wanting to play right now. She wants attention, and she's doing her little. Do you want me to pick? You don't like me when I pick you? Yeah. See, you want me? She wants me to chase her. Look at her. Yeah. What? Oh, yeah. Oh. Jesus. All right, stop. Sorry, guys. It happens. The dog wants what the dog wants. She's 16. She's a little bitch, literally, and she demands what she's going to demand. But her legs have been bothering her for the last 2 months, and she's starting to feel better and getting even more demanding. I know. You're okay, all right? Okay, you're fine. All right. Oh, God. And I gave her water earlier, but now she's going to want more water, too. Yeah, well, also you saw yesterday. She slept through yesterday. Today, we're only 15, 20 minutes into this, and demand. There is a crazy story out of Columbia University. ICE went and tricked their way into the university by pretending they were cops with fake badges and everything. I'm pretty sure this is a crime. I don't care what law enforcement you are. You're not allowed to impersonate police. That's a crime. It's also trespass, actually, because they got themselves admitted to a dorm by lying and pretending they were police so they could arrest a young woman, who they then had to release. Listen to this story. Oh shit, I had where this was located. God damn it. I think this is New York Times. I didn't write down who this was. I think it's New York Times. I like to cite the stories I get these things from. Federal Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents, ICE, entered a residential building owned by Columbia University early Thursday morning and detained an undergraduate student. The school said in a letter to the campus that the agents had conducted the operation under false pretenses. Claire Shipman, the university's acting president, said in the letter that the immigration officers appeared to gain access by saying that they were searching for a missing person. A state assemblyman said that he had been told by university officials that the federal agents presented themselves as police officers to convince a building superintendent to let them in. Brad Hoylman-Segal, the Manhattan borough president, said in a social media post that the ICE agents had shown a phony missing persons bulletin for a 5-year-old girl and that they had fake badges. They created a fake missing persons thing about a 5-year-old girl to illegally trespass on a Columbia University dormitory and used fake badges. I mean, these people need to be... First of all, I'm hoping this is a New York crime. The problem is, I don't know whether New York will go after them or not. The New York people need to go after these guys and try to get them. This is what we... And, by the way, I don't think these guys have the kind of protection they think they have. You're going into private places and you're using fake IDs and fake stories to get access. If somebody's got weapons, you're in trouble because you're not who you say you are. If they figure out you're not who you say you are, they're going to think they snuck into a place with undergraduate girls, basically. I mean, these old men disguised themselves, used fake IDs to sneak into basically the homes of young women. I mean, it's a dormitory, guys. It's a girls' dormitory, maybe co-ed, but there's women sleeping there, right? I mean, Jesus Christ. Oh, pickle? Did somebody do a pickle gift? I was reading this and didn't look up. Did we get the, I just want to check, did we get the other gift? What a crazy story. What a crazy-ass story. Wow. Okay, Ash says yes. Okay, sorry, you get a pickle. I was in the midst of the story. We have another gift on TikTok that gets a response. These are TikTok gifts. Yodeling, you get a yodeling pickle? This is terrible. And then it repeats, I think. Yep. That one we just do once because it's long and obnoxious. Thank you for the gift. It's pretty funny. I heard it on Amazon and I was like, God, this is so obnoxious. Can you freaking believe this? Again, guys, it's bad enough they're lying. ICE officers are lying. They're using fake badges. They're using fake missing persons reports, flyers of 5-year-old children, but they're sneaking into basically a girls' dormitory. I was 17 and a half when I started college. They snuck into like the building underage girls sleep in because some of those girls were not even 18. And these guys are roaming the halls under false pretense. I mean, man, Jesus Christ. Next story, another ICE story. They killed somebody else. U.S. immigration officials picked up a blind Rohingya refugee last week in Buffalo, New York. Then, realizing they had no basis to deport him, they released him 5 miles from his home at a Tim Hortons. He needed a walking stick and died trying to make his way back home. He was blind. It's winter. They arrested him, and they were wrong because he was a Rohingya. He was an immigrant, and he was blind, so they figured he must be illegal. They left him 5 miles from home with no transportation. He's blind. Was it Buffalo? Did I say Buffalo? Buffalo. Buffalo, like, you know, Buffalo, New York, as cold as you get. Blind. Left the guy. Just left him 5 miles away from home, and he died. Walked with a cane. He died. Yeah, could have called his family, could have done anything. You don't leave some blind guy. And you know what? You arrested him and you were wrong. You take him wherever the hell he wants to go, right? You take him home. You don't take him to a Tim Hortons 5 miles away. Man, no, horrific. Some really nasty stories today. Oh, here's another great story. Washington Post. Trump is being urged by election activists with ties to the White House to declare a national emergency in order to take over our elections and ban mail-in ballots and require everyone to register anew for the fall election using birth certificates. These are election advocates, the crazies, who are very close to the White House. They say they are working with the White House. Their plan, they have a draft executive order, and the plan they have presented to the White House, and they claim the White House is working with them. The plan they presented to the White House, according to the Washington Post, is for Trump to claim that China stole the election in 2020. Now, our intelligence services found in 2021 that China had considered getting involved in our election in 2020, and they decided against it. But they're urging Trump to declare that China did steal the election, and therefore he has to declare a national election emergency and nationalize the election, ban mail-in ballots, which would hurt Democrats, possibly Republicans too, but very much hurt Democrats, and require us all to register to vote again by birth certificate, which most people don't have. Most people do not have access to their birth certificates. I didn't know where mine was. Mine was in my safety deposit box at mom's. Didn't know that till my parents died. I was like, oh, okay. But all of my siblings, they were there. We were like, okay. For women, I'm going to get my dog a little water. For women, if you're married, guess what? Your birth certificate isn't right if you're married in America. 1 second. All right, crazy. In the US, many women in the old days, but even today, changed their name and they adopted their husband's last name. Their birth certificate has their birth name. It doesn't have their husband's name. Today, you also have a lot of couples where they'll hyphenate the name, where you know, you're Smith and he's Jones, you become Smith Jones, Smith-Jones. And both the husband and the wife take that name. Guess what? Both your birth certificates are wrong. Good luck with that, right? I mean, I would say I would guess most women, because certainly women of a certain age all change their last name. Younger women, I don't actually, give me a quick feedback, if anybody, but you have to know this for sure. Younger women in their 20s, let's say today, are even young 30s, are women today changing are men and women changing their last names? Or pretty much do you keep your name the way it is nowadays when you're in your 20s and 30s when you get married? It's a question for men too. Let's ask women more, because men don't ever change their name really. So a lot of the women are now saying no. Right, 55. It makes sense though. Right. But I'm curious for like women today. Not what I mean is if you got married 20, 30 years ago, right? We know the answer to that. But if you're getting married today, do you still change the name? 32, you did in 2023. That's interesting. Oh, your wife took your name, Callum. Yeah, well, she's not voting. Paula did change it, went back. Okay, so, I mean, so it's a mixed bag. But the problem is, I would say for most women who are already married, a lot of them already went through this, right? If you're a gay couple, same problem. Gay couples especially might hyphenate the last names, right? Anyway, it's a real mess. Hey, Liv, I am still on for the next hour. Well, next 45 minutes at least. What else we got here? There's lots of other news. Kash Patel's old schedule leaked. So Kash Patel's schedule leaked at the Olympics. Remember how the FBI director spent $75,000 just on a plane so he could go watch the men's hockey game at the Olympics? And then he got drunk on camera and all that crap. Horrible video. And somebody leaked his schedule, because then he said, it was all meetings, I wasn't there for fun, and somebody leaked his schedule, and almost the entire schedule was fun. And by the way, that was just the plane that cost $75,000. He spent a lot more than that on security, on staff. They all had to stay in hotels, food, well over $100,000. Well, now the Justice Department says, it's a crime that somebody released his schedule. People could get killed. And the reporter from the New York Times reporter goes, it was a schedule of things he already did, right? Nobody's threatening. No one's life is at risk if you told me last weekend what his schedule was, right? That's not a security risk. Maybe you're pissed about it, fair enough. But it's not a security risk unless we've got time. What is it, the Matrix or whatever? Right? We can go back in time, right, and figure that out. But will you please stop? Stop. Jesus Christ, my dog. At least 10 FBI agents who worked on Trump's classified document theft case have been fired. The rumor is that Trump was not happy with Kash Patel's drunken frivolity last weekend at the Olympics. He did a video showing himself chugging beer and screaming with all the Olympians. Horrific. The rumor is that Trump was not happy with Patel, so in order to get in Trump's good graces, Patel just fired between 7 and 10 FBI agents who were involved with investigating Donald Trump for stealing classified information after his last presidency. It's illegal. They're not allowed to just fire these guys. These guys have protections. Doesn't matter. This is what I mean by the FBI and the Justice Department. They no longer work for the American people. They are no longer law enforcement. They are nothing better than what you have in Russia, what you had in the Soviet Union, what you have in China. They are thugs who work for the police state. And anybody working there ought to resign. I really do think. I don't think, at this point, don't even keep the good people there. People need to get out of there. And frankly, if you work at Homeland Security or you work at Department of Justice, you work at the FBI, you're part of the problem and you shouldn't be there. And anybody who knows somebody there ought to tell them that. State of the Union. So I mentioned this last night, but I looked into it. So State of the Union. Trump gave out like 6 awards. Remember, he kept giving medals and medals and medals nonstop. He gave out like 6 of them, 6 or so. They were all to men. I looked. Finally, I found one woman. Remember, he gave them like to the hockey player. The Olympic hockey player got one. We don't know why. I mean, he won a gold medal. Lots of people did. He gave some better ones. He gave them like to a pilot that was injured, a Coast Guard guy, I think, that saved 160 children. So several of them had good. He then gave the 2 last, all men. I think they were all white men too. 2 men. The last 2 were to the National Guardsmen who were shot in Washington, D.C. The one was injured. The one was killed. The one who was killed was a woman. That's the only woman who got a medal last night, had to be killed to get a medal. Otherwise, she wasn't getting one. Donald Trump couldn't find any other women in all of America that deserved a medal, but he found 5 men. No problem. And one of those guys was a hockey goalie with the Olympics team. And again, that's great. You don't get the Presidential Medal of Freedom because you won a hockey game. Because you know what, by the way? Think about this too. Okay? Just how bad these guys are. Why does the Olympic hockey goalie, men, get the Presidential Medal of Freedom for winning the game and getting the gold medal, when the women's hockey team, American women's Olympic hockey team, they won the gold as well? Why didn't one of them get a Presidential Medal of Freedom? Now, I'm serious about this, though, right? I mean, he's terrible. He didn't just invite the men and not invite the women. And then he was caught on tape saying, well, I guess we've got to invite the women too. Oh, gee, thanks. But then he gave a medal to the guys' team, but he didn't give a medal to the women's team. I mean, we all know why, of course, because they're women. Yeah. But think about it. But it just sort of hit me. It hit me today that there was only one. Again, you had to die to be a woman and to get a medal. But also, he gave the men's team an award and didn't give the women's team an award. They both got gold medals. Because this is who these people are. It's the bigotry, it's the racism, it's the sexism, it's the discrimination, right? It's not a glitch, it's a feature. More Epstein fallout. We know that Larry Summers at Harvard is forced to step down. Borge Brende will step down as the CEO of the World Economic Forum. And Bob Kerrey, former Nebraska senator, quit the board of a clean energy startup, all because of their contacts with Epstein. That's great. Iran. This was a crazy, really interesting news stories today, though, I will say. A lot of news, but interesting stories. Iran. Politico is reporting that the White House is worried that there isn't enough public support for the America going to war with Iran, starting the war. So some administration officials are considering getting Israel to attack Iran first to piss off the Iranians, and then the Iranians respond by attacking Israel and attacking American bases. And if the White House can get some American soldiers killed or injured, then the American people will demand Trump go to war with Iran. There are senior administration officials that are seriously proposing that we harm or kill some U.S. troops in order to convince the American people to go to war against Iran when they don't want that war. This is from Politico. I mean, right, these people, right? Kristi Noem's blanket. This is pretty funny. Now, this is from the Daily Mail. Daily Mail isn't the most trustworthy, but you know what? Not my call. Daily Mail is reporting out of the UK that, remember Kristi Noem's blanket? Kristi Noem is Homeland Security lady. Kristi Noem, Bambi, the hair, the eyelashes, the cosplay. Kristi Noem fired her pilot, her Homeland Security pilot, a couple weeks ago because the plane wasn't working. They had to shift planes. And when they shifted to the new plane, the pilot didn't bring her blankie with. And her blankie wasn't on the new plane. So she fired him in the middle of the flight. Okay? Well, now the Daily Mail is reporting from multiple sources that it wasn't a blanket. It was a personal bag that contained personal things in it, and she was so upset that her personal bag with personal things was left on the plane that's why they fired the pilot. Now, nobody knows what personal things were in this bag. She was traveling with her top aide, Kerrey Lewandowski. Kerrey is, how do I say this? A reporter asked Trump, traveling about 2 weeks ago on camera, it's been all over the internet, a reporter said, well, Mr. President, there are reports that your Homeland Security Secretary is in a long-term affair with Kerrey Lewandowski, her top aide, both of whom are married to other people. Do you have comment on that? And Trump said, well, I'll have to look into that. I'm just telling you what a White House reporter asked Donald Trump on camera 2 weeks ago. She was traveling with Kerrey with her personal bag that nobody should see. And Kerrey then, and this is really interesting, Reuters reports, I think this is Reuters, that Lewandowski then goes into the cockpit of the plane. The plane takes off. She realizes her secret private bag is missing. The cockpit has not reached 10,000 feet. They're still taking off. They're taking off, but they're still taking off. Apparently very serious part of the flight, risky, etc. He barges into the cockpit and starts yelling at the pilot and firing him while the plane is taking off. Lewandowski and Homeland Security say, it never happened. These are the people who routinely lie about everything. And by the way, the funniest part of the story is they fired the pilot, and then they got to where they were going, and they realized they were halfway across the country, and they fired their pilot. So they couldn't get home. So they had to rehire the pilot to get home because they fired him. Imagine the middle of the trip. You fired your pilot in the middle of the trip when you're halfway across the U.S. It's like, okay. The Atlantic reports today that Kristi Noem, Homeland Security, Bambi, was crossed off Trump's vice presidential list in 2024 because she said in a memoir that she shot and killed her dog because her dog was untrainable. So rather than giving him up for adoption, she simply shot the dog to death. Trump reportedly said that he was not going to have her as Homeland Security, as VP, because the public wouldn't like that. but he did consider the story an asset for Homeland Security, and part of the reason he hired her for Homeland Security is because she shot her dog to death. Yeah. And now you start to wonder about Homeland Security shooting innocent American citizens to death. Yeah. And why she lied about it and why she defended it, right? Really interesting story from Wall Street Journal. I'm going to read you several paragraphs of it. This is a fascinating story. I mean, personal for me, but it's also fascinating. Wall Street Journal, two reporters, Drew Hinshaw and Joe Parkinson. I subscribe to the Journal. They did, keep the gifts coming, guys, by the way, TikTok, YouTube, etc., Discord, Substack. They did a story about Ice Barbie. That's funny. They did a story about how a growing number of Americans are leaving and moving to Europe and Asia, among other places. The numbers were really shocking. Listen to this, okay? Last year, the U.S. experienced something that has definitively never occurred since the Great Depression. Thank you, Blue. More people moved out than moved in. More Americans left last year than arrived for the first time since the Great Depression. Now, the Trump people are saying it's people who are here illegally. Thank you, Just Max. But historic numbers of Americans are leaving. Listen, some of the European capitals. So 1 of every 15 residents in Dublin's trendy Grand Canal Dock District was born in the USA, according to realtors. Higher than the percentage of Americans born in Ireland during the 19th century influx following the potato famine. In Bali, Colombia, and Thailand, the strains of housing American remote workers paid in dollars have inspired locals to mount protests against a wave of gentrification. If there was any thought, this is Wall Street Journal, if there was any thought that this was a fleeting pandemic-era experiment of laptop nomads logging in from distant shores, data hints at its longevity. The U.S. government has listen to this, the U.S. government has a months-long backlog, a many months backlog of Americans asking to renounce their citizenship, either to secure a foreign passport or to avoid taxation of their earnings abroad. The U.S. government is backlogged with American citizens wanting to renounce their citizenship. In 2024, such requests jumped 48% and likely outpaced that in 2025. The total living in different cities. The total living in Portugal has jumped more than 500% since the COVID pandemic and grew 36% in 2024 alone, the number of Americans. In the past 10 years, the number of American residents has nearly doubled in Spain and the Netherlands and more than doubled in the Czech Republic. Last year, more Americans moved to Germany than Germans moved to America. The same was true in Ireland, which welcomed 10,000 people from the U.S. in 2025, about double those who came in 2024. Americans are applying for British citizenship at the highest rate since records began in 2004. They are securing Irish passports at a record pace. A Gallup poll, listen to this, Wall Street Journal. A Gallup poll last year found 40% of American women aged 15 to 44 would like to permanently move overseas if possible. Read this again. A Gallup poll last year found that 40% of American women aged 15 to 44 would like to permanently move overseas. That's huge. I mean, that's insanely huge. By comparison, in 2023, the same pollster found that a slightly smaller proportion of sub-Saharan Africans, 37%, wish to do the same. More American women want to leave the country than South Saharan Africans want to leave their country. I mean, do these emigres personify a loss of faith in America's future and way of life? Across dozens of interviews, U.S. expatriates describe their motivations as a tangle of economic incentives, lifestyle preferences, and disenchantment with the trajectory of America, citing violent crime, cost of living, and turbulent politics. Trump's re-election was a factor for many, although others voted for him. But the structural and societal shifts run much deeper. When Gallup asked Americans during the 2008 recession how many wanted to leave the U.S., the answer was 1 in 10. Last year, the answer was 1 in 5 Americans want to leave the U.S. In his rallies, Trump has mused about attracting Norwegian immigrants, but the number of Norwegians living in the U.S. has fallen over the past 10 years, and in 2024, it crossed a symbolic milestone. There are now more natural-born Americans living in Norway than Norwegian-born residents in the U.S. Finally, international students coming to America fell by 17% last year and is expected to decline more quickly in years to come, while the cohort of Americans obtaining a degree in Europe has doubled from 2011, rising 14% last year alone in the UK. You know, and then there's a final story about Hungary we're going to talk about. You know, the thing is, I'm fascinated by all this because I'm applying for Greek citizenship. I have applied. And the consul told me, I met with him, and he said, oh, yeah, we've got crazy numbers of people applying. Heard similar stories from Boston. It's been going on for years. Certainly Europeans, like this story says, are witnessing it. It's not just Trump. It happened under the Biden years. I think it's a lot of things. I think the thing is, A, you could say it's the new generation, but I'd be curious to see numbers on how many of these people are my generation versus how many of these people are 20-year-old, or not 20 years old, but 20-somethings, right? I don't know which. Second of all, you know, if you've ever been to Europe, there is an allure there. I think, you know, the Trump kind of people, the MAGA people, like to pretend, because they've never been there or it's part of a game for them. They like to pretend like, oh, like MAGA always likes to, Republicans like to pretend they don't like Europe, but they love Europe. By the way, right, red sweater from Italy back in the 1980s, right? You go to Europe, you get nice clothes for very cheap. But they like to pretend they hate Europe, but they love to go to Europe. Europe is always where they go on vacation, of course. And anybody who's gone to Europe and stayed in Europe, it's fabulous. You know, yeah, the money's less. Yeah. The bureaucracy can be a lot worse. Yeah. My friends in France in their late 20s. Thank you, OC, for the gift. I had a friend in France 10 years ago, 27 years old, working with one of the big perfume companies. I don't know, Estee Lauder, L'Oreal, one of the huge perfume companies, right? I don't know what he was doing there. 27 years old. And he was telling me that how many vacation days he gets. And I said, yeah, how much vacation? He goes, 9 weeks. Like, you get 9 weeks vacation? He goes, yeah. I said, is that after you've been there for many years? He goes, no, at the beginning. You get 9 weeks. 9 weeks vacation, people. That's 2 months and an extra week. 2 months and an extra week. And of course, and they've got a lot of vacation days, a lot of holidays and everything else. And I always tell people this. One of the things Americans love to do when they criticize Europeans, they claim they're lazy. They're always going on vacation. They've got, you know, their unions, And I always say, you mean, if somebody offered you 9 weeks vacation, you would say, oh, that's too much. I want 2 weeks vacation, right? Or 10 days vacation, the typical American starting vacation, right? We would trip over ourselves today. And paternity leave, right? Bingo. 1 year paternity leave in Germany. My friends in Sweden, I think they got a year and a half, maybe, paternity leave. And the husbands can get it too, right? Maternity, paternity. I mean, you know, the taxes are much higher, and they are. The taxes are much higher, much higher. For example, I was looking into it, and I looked, for example, let's say I go in the next few years, and I decide to keep doing this work with you guys. And I was thinking, like, let's pretend, you know, I want to retire, but let's pretend I've still got TikTok, I've still got Substack, whatever, and I'd like to keep doing some stuff. And I said, so let's pretend I make $20,000 a year or something, right? I mean, I do this for a living, so that's why I try to make more. But let's pretend I make $20,000 a year. And I checked. In France, probably, now, only $20,000 a year, right? Which isn't much. In France, probably if I made $20,000 a year, my tax rate might be 30%. It might be 30%. That's a huge tax rate for $20,000. $20,000 in the US, your tax rate would be next to nothing. I mean, hey, stop, please. Hi, you relax, please. All right, I'm going to pick you up to say hi to people. All right, can we do that? Let's say hi. Let's say hi, okay? Hi, thank you. All right. Sorry, I know somebody's in a mood again. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. These are the whines I have to deal with every day, and they make me feel very bad. All right. Okay. Sorry, I'm scaring you there. Oh, thank you, Luis. All right. Okay. We're going to go down now. The thing is, too, like, she's not fighting me to get down, which is funny, because usually she does. Okay. All right. Okay. Go down now. All right. Okay. There you go. She's in a mood tonight. It's funny. Last night she slept through the whole show, and we thought she was sick or something. People were like, "Where's your dog?" Tonight she's just nonstop. Me. Go lay down here. Come lay down. Right there. You go. Go lay down. Trying to get her lay down. Oh my God! And then I had her. Then I put her by my face, and it makes my nose itch. Oh my God! Could you hear her whine on the mic? I assume you could. I have a very good microphone. So she's old. She's always been very effusive. She's always been very talkative, always. But now that she's gotten older in the last year, she whines whenever she wants. But she could want dinner. She could want a treat. She could want to see the neighbor. She whines. So that whine was, I want you to play with me and I'd like a treat. Because she gets her treat at 7:30 in 45 minutes. But it drives me nuts because it also sounds like she's in pain. And I'm like, any case. But yeah, so like the vacation stuff in Europe is great. The taxes are high. I mean, if I made $20,000 only next year, let's say, and I moved to Europe, the French might tax me 30% on that. That's a lot. I mean, in America, oh my God, in America, your effective tax rate would be next to nothing, right? I'm forgetting what it would be. One of you, is it not Dawn? Dawn, you're the flower lady. Who's our accountant lady out there? I'm forgetting. One of you is an accountant. On $20,000 with a personal deduction, you'd pay almost nothing, right? You'd pay almost nothing. I think it would be almost nothing, right? Well, no, what I had read, here's what I read. Now, Tamara, I might have gotten it wrong. What I read about France was my tax rate might be 11%, but I might have to pay 18% for the social programs, healthcare and all of that. That's what I read. Is it wrong? But I read it might be 18 added on to 11. The first 11,000 in France is 0. Oh, that's good. So if it's 20, okay, I asked ChatGPT, it screwed up. So somebody who knows French taxes, what would the tax be on like $20,000 or 20,000 euros, let's say? ChatGPT may have screwed it up. But it claimed it would be 11% and that it would be 18% social. So it said 29% on the 20,000. Well, retired is different. Retired is totally different because you got tax treaties with the U.S. and they probably wouldn't, I believe, they wouldn't tax IRAs. The U.S. would tax the IRA, things like that. Anyway, I don't know if anybody here knows the French tax system. But the healthcare too. After being, this is the other thing. After being 3 months in France or Greece or wherever, I could sign up for the healthcare system. France is 3 months. Greece might be 3 or 6 months. You can sign up for the national healthcare system. Now, it could take many months to get inscribed, but the national healthcare system means medical care that is already very cheap gets to be even cheaper. In France, my famous story was I had a retinal detachment in France, and very serious issue. I had to get surgery. It was not fun. And although what ended up being fun was I had to get surgery, and they put you out for like very serious surgery on your back, and I wasn't allowed to travel for 3 months, and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me." And she goes, "Nope." So I ended up having to stay in France for 2.5 months, and I just worked there. A friend of mine was traveling in the U.S., so I went and stayed at his place, and I just worked for 2.5 months from Paris. It was one of the most wonderful experiences of my life. I mean, imagine your doctor saying, "You have to work from Paris for the next 3 months. Sorry." And you're like, "Okay, what do you do?" Right? But my eye surgery was very serious, scleral buckle, for the retinal detachment. And I was told by the doctor here that my eye surgery would have been a minimum of $25,000 in the US. I suspect it would have been more, and here's why. In France, I was in the operating room. They had me in an operating room with many people, right? It was an operating room. They put me to sleep. I had to wake up in the recovery room, a night in the hospital. So imagine 24-hour hospital stay, the whole thing. The entire charge was 2,000 euros, which at the time was, let's say, $2,200. That was for a procedure putting you under in the OR, and overnight stay in the hospital, and it cost $2,200. My doctor in the States said that would have cost $25,000. And I will bet you it probably would have cost more than that, because you know how these things are. The hospital stay alone would have been $1,000 a night for the hospital, probably, easily. In France, it's $2,500, but it gets even better. As they told me, $2,200 is how much you pay if you don't have French insurance. That's the rate if you're uninsured. If you have the French social insurance, then it's a fraction of that price. I don't know how much. Actually, if anybody's French here tonight, like what would it be, for example, if I had a 2,500, I was at the 15 hospital, if I had a 2,000 euro bill for a surgery, typically what would the typical French public plan charge me? Tamara's saying zero. And we're talking the regular one, not the special pay extra one. The hospital food was very bad, actually. But I'm curious, anybody who's French, for real though, would they have charged me a percentage? Would it have been free? What would the charge have been in France for that? Does anybody know? I didn't ask my French friends that one. A lot of folks are saying zero. Mike, I'm still here, Mike, if anybody on YouTube. It's still working. Mike says, in Germany, it's 10 euros per day for the hospital. Okay, Ais is saying about 250, so 10%. Yeah. Yep. Now, my American insurance, by the way, the American insurance, a lot of people are saying zero. My American insurance, I called them and I said, will you cover my surgery in France? We can't tell you that. Like, what do you mean you can't tell me that? Like, how can you not tell me? I mean, first of all, it's my insurance. This is Blue Cross Blue Shield. I'm like, how can you not tell me if a procedure is covered? You'll have to get the procedure and then file it with us, and then we'll tell you if we reimburse you. I'm like, you can't tell me what insurance I have? How am I supposed to go to doctors and get treatments if you won't tell me before the treatment whether the treatment is covered, right? She goes, sir, I can only read you this one paragraph. And she kept reading me this paragraph. The paragraph of my policy said something about treatment abroad that is in the emergency room or something like that. And if it is not in the emergency room, we will not cover it. And I said, okay, but this is the emergency wing of the hospital. And they said, I need the surgery or I'm going to go blind and I'm not allowed to come back to the United States until I get the surgery. Is that still an emergency if it's 3 days later because I can't do the surgery today? Sir, I can only read you the paragraph. So my French doctor, God bless, nicest lady on the planet. My French doctor, fluent in English, gave her the paragraph. And I said, I hate to ask you, can you write me a letter that says what you did, why you did it? I said, echo their language about emergency. And she said, actually, the good thing is, she said, our surgery is actually taking place in the emergency department. We are in the emergency department. Your surgery is literally taking place in the emergency department. So their little line about it has to be in the emergency room, she goes, we are. So she wrote me the letter. They accepted it. But I mean, this kind of, in Greek we say malachias, this kind of just bullshit, that of having to, in the end, they covered 90%. So they charged me $2,200 I had to pay out of my pocket for my surgery in France, which was already crazy. I mean, what I had to pay was $2,000 for surgery that in France would have been $0 or maybe $200. So they did cover 90%, but they wouldn't tell me in advance. They wouldn't tell me. They said, you've got to get the surgery and submit it and maybe. Now, the good thing was, well, actually, oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm misspeaking. They covered 90%, so I only had to pay $200 because the French thing was $2,000 and they covered 90%, so I paid $200. So the price was good in the end, but I still had to pay I was lucky because it was in France. Yeah, no, it's and that's the thing is, why would you want to live in Europe? You make less money. 9 weeks vacation, pretty freaking cool. All the holidays, pretty freaking cool. The food, pretty freaking cool. The quality of life, pretty freaking cool. My friends in Paris, one of the neatest things about the French can be annoying. Hell, look at us, right? But one of the neatest things about Paris, my friends in Paris, the Italians do this too. They like to do stuff in group. In Italian, they say what, in compagnia, in groups. And my French friends will often organize things. They'll send a text message to 30 friends, or they'll put it on Facebook and say, hey, thank you, Farah. They'll put a message on Facebook, or they'll text message and say, hey, next Thursday night, we're going to the movies. We're going to see this movie. Anybody who's interested, let us know. Send a text message, and we're buying tickets, and you can Venmo, or however one does it in France. You can do it there. And I love it because, honestly, they're always planning stuff. They're always having parties. They're always having dinner parties. It's wonderful. I mean, in the summer, we have picnics. We have nighttime picnics in Paris in the summer that are just lovely. And you sit along the Seine, other places too, but we've got a favorite little spot by the Seine River. And you sit there, and we have these nighttime picnics with like 20 or 30 people. And sometimes the food isn't very good because people bring whatever. And sometimes we only have cold cuts, but sometimes there's cheese or bread, or I would bring American stuff. Like I'd make brownies or cupcakes and things, or not cupcakes, brownies or chocolate chip cookies. One year I brought Reese's peanut butter cups because I had a French friend. I always laugh at this one because the French friend said to me, oh, hey, Will, not much going on with Iran. I had an Iran update a little earlier. There's not much going on with Iran yet. No. My French friend says to me years ago, and he goes, I had done this trip to America. He goes, and it was like, I've told you guys before, it was like the TV commercial. He goes, when I was in America, they had this candy, and he goes, it was amazing. He goes, it was like chocolate, but it was chocolate with peanut butter, and they put the chocolate with the peanut butter. Because in France, at least from what I always knew, in France, peanut butter is considered like, I think, weren't peanuts for animals or something? Peanut butter was not super loved when I was living in France. It was not super loved. So the idea of eating peanut butter was not always the thing the French were really into. And he was like, it's peanut butter with chocolate, and they put it together. And I was like, it's the old Reese. Exactly, it's the old Reese. There was a TV commercial. And I told him, I said, those are Reese's. Oh, that's okay, Well, I was like, those are Reese's peanut butter cups. Well, I brought them. Thank you for a baby. I brought one of those big Halloween size packages in my suitcase, and I brought it to the picnic one night. Oh my God. Because also I like doing that too, because, the French are always kind of insulting American food. And I was like, Reese's. I brought the Reese's, and I kept them in the fridge before I went. Brought them. They finished every single one of them. Then I made American brownies one day, finished every single one of them. I made chocolate chip cookies, finished every single one of them. Our food isn't, actually, we do a very good food, but our desserts and stuff, I mean, it was very, I'm petting the dog as I talk to you. It was very funny. But I love introducing the French to American food, especially the desserts, because they're like, oh my God. I had a dinner party where I had Greek food, moussaka and some other stuff, and then I made my mom's cheesecake recipe for dessert with Philadelphia cheese, cream cheese, which is very good. Anyway, very funny. Sasha, come on. But the dog went from nothing to crazy. Any case, yeah, so why would you go live in Europe? It's really nice, guys. I mean, it really is. Like Paris is really nice. People can be rude, but people can be really nice too. She doesn't like being held, though, is the problem. Blue, she just doesn't like it. Yeah. It's really, Greece too, Italy's got its problems, but oh my God, I love the Italians. And it depends where. Southern Italy more so, because I'm a chatter, so I get along better. Oh, the Hungary story, yeah. Let's do the Hungary story really quick. Sorry, guys. Hungary story really quick. Oh, yeah, so the Hungarian military. So Hungary, the parliamentary elections, which will decide the next leader of the country, are happening in early April, maybe 6 weeks from now. And the party of the guy in charge, Orbán, who is a Russian puppet, horrible, hates America. He likes Trump, of course, but hates America, hates Europe, hates NATO, hates the European Union, hates Ukraine, loves Putin, loves the Russians. he is in trouble. The latest poll today from a respected pollster shows his party is at 35% in the polls. The opposition is at 55%, which is amazing. The issue is that he is now claiming that Ukraine is getting ready to invade our country. Yes, Ukraine that like is dealing with the Russians is planning on taking over Hungary. So he's positioning Hungarian troops at the border with Ukraine, preparing for war. Now, the opposition is worried that he's doing this as an excuse to call off elections, to ban opposition parties, to basically install martial law and claim we're at war. Let's see. And of course, the U.S. won't stand up to it. Europe will. Honestly, the European guys, they need to be kicked out of the European Union. Well, again, if they lose this election, if Orbán wins this election, Hungary needs to be kicked out of the EU and kicked out of NATO. Now, Trump will never have them kicked out of NATO, ironically, but you know. So yes, that's the Hungary story. Sorry for that. I forgot we were talking about Europe and moving abroad, and I did not finish the Hungary story. So now you've got it. All right, keep the gifts coming, guys. Oh, another 10 minutes or so. I'm adjusting. Now I can sit back and relax a little bit. Yeah, but Orbán, terrible man. Absolutely terrible man. Thank you. Who is that? Just Max. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Mel, as well. Moving this a little closer so I can see. Actually, I think I can move this closer. I can see it a little bit better that way. Anyway, Hungarian elections are early April. When are the Hungarian parliamentary elections? When are the Hungarian parliamentary elections? I'll bet you it's early April, I think. Let's see. April 12th. Yep, April 12th. So we shall see. But yeah, Orbán rigging it, of course. Everything about it. Yeah, and the Russians too. You know? So we shall see. We shall see. Anyway, hello, Substackers. Thank you for joining us tonight. YouTube, Discord. We got everybody here. We got Facebook. How many do we have? Do we have a couple Facebookers? Oh, we got several Facebookers here tonight. Hey, guys. Oh, Jay. Are you still there? Good to see you. 5 Twitchers tonight, too. That's nice. Actually, 1 Facebooker live right now. We've got 5 Twitchers. That's nice, too. Anyway. Oh, la, 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 la. I'm going to move this back a little bit. I'm trying to adjust my camera as we talk here. Anyway. Oh, hey, Just Max. Thank you. Appreciate that. Very kind of you. Oh, Canada. Oh, I was talking about Canada. Canada's gotten a couple 100,000 Americans as well, but it didn't count the number of dual citizens. I considered it. Trust me. Everyone was like, you'll love Montreal. But honestly, I don't think I want to move somewhere that's colder than Chicago. Like, even going back to Chicago, where I'm from, is very cold to me now. And I just am not sure I want to do that, you know? I mean, I'd be tempted to. I've never been to Montreal. I know Vancouver's supposed to be lovely. I mean, the thing is, Montreal would be neat because I would love to go somewhere that I could speak French, because I love speaking foreign languages. Now, it's a little hard because I'm very fluent in French, but my English is so much better that having a very deep conversation, I could have it in French, but it's not going to be as good. Like, I'm not going to understand you as well, and I'm not going to be able to express myself nearly as well as I can do in English. And that's the thing I don't like, but I still would love to, I would love to go somewhere where I could speak French more regularly. I know, I've got to go visit Montreal, visit Vancouver. Louisiana, I know. I watched a video. of the Louisianans speaking their French. It was wild. But yeah, I speak French, Spanish, and Italian, and some Greek. My Greek is okay. It's intermediate. Yeah, Québécois is different. That I know. Yeah. I've watched the Québécois videos. Not easy. Merci, Angélique. Not easy, the Québécois. Yeah, I would have problems understanding, and I would not want to pick up Québécois. No offense, but I learned French in Paris. Like, I don't want to learn the other French, so to speak, right? But Vancouver? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, Vancouver, that is interesting. Yeah, no. I'll let you know. Banff. I've been to Banff. I haven't really spent much time in the city, but I went. I was there at Kananaskis for a congressional trip and went skiing at. Oh, I'm forgetting the name. What's the big ski resort there? The big ski resort in Banff. Oh my God, I'm totally forgetting the name. But you know what I mean. I went to the big ski resort there. I'm forgetting. I even had the little headband. No, not Whistler. Are many of them right there in Banff? What's there near Kananaskis? It wasn't Whistler. Mi español está muy bueno, sí. Hablo bastante bien. Hace mucho tiempo que no hablo, pero hablo bien. Y lo conozco bien. Estudié español 12 años. Sunshine. It could be Sunshine. It was two names. It was like Sunshine Valley or something. It was two names, right? Was it not two names? Sunshine River, Sunshine Valley, Sunshine something. Thank you, MM. Ouais, on peut le faire en français, mais ça sera un peu difficile parce que personne va nous comprendre. Bon, Angélique va comprendre et quelqu'un d'autre, mais pas trop de monde. Sun Valley? No, it was Sunshine River, Sunshine something. It was Sunshine Village or something. It wasn't Sun Valley, it was Sunshine. Yeah. Sunshine Village, I think. James, I think you're right. I think it was Sunshine Village. Yeah. No snow this year. Sunshine Village. I think that was it. Yeah. That sounds right. I remember that name, ça me dit quelque chose. That name says something to me, as we say in French. Sacha, come on. Come on. She's so funny because she was asleep the whole show. Très à l'écran. Je ne sais pas. You know, the interesting thing for me is I watch a lot of the French videos on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, and everything else. And the people teaching you French, they don't do the I always forget if it's liaison or Elysion or whatever it's called. The when you do the très important, for example, I learned to say things like très important, and they say things like très important. They drop a lot of the is it liaison, whatever it is. The S's and the P's and stuff. Even the guys teaching you the language do that. And I was like, my friends were very proper, a lot of them. And I never quite know if it's not done or what. You know what I mean? Because like one of my friends in France, who's French and American, I remember hearing her once, and I said, do you actually say that, the liaison? She said to me, once, ah oui, c'est trop important. And I said, trop important? Like using the P, I had never heard that. And I still have a hard time saying it because I feel like it's trop important. Trop important. I feel like it would be a little too snooty to say that. Hey, come here, you. Thank you. Okay. I don't know what's easier, Spanish or French. I mean, I studied Spanish for 12 years. And then I learned French by living in France for a year and studying it. So it's hard to say. I would think Spanish is easier, I would think. Spanish is easier. Hard to say, though, because French pronunciation is more difficult, and therefore hearing it is more difficult because it's very nasal. Important. The word important is spelled important in French. In Spanish, it's importante. You literally pronounce it as is. In French, it's important. Important. It's like portant instead of portent. Portant. It's very and you've got to learn it to be able to understand it because you're not hearing the whole word. Whereas in Spanish, at least you hear importante and you go, okay, what does that word mean? Importante. You go, oh, important. At least you can hear the whole word. Not in Puerto Rico, not in Panama, but depending where in Mexico they speak very clearly. My experience always was. Verbs can be very complex in French, but yeah, French is very nasal in the way, but it's nasal in that it eats the vowels. It eats the consonants a lot, so that so I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Since I learned them differently. It's hard for me to say, but French should be harder in principle. My guess, too, is it may depend... Espagnol est plus facile que français? Okay, ouais, je crois que oui. I think also it may depend to some degree on what My dog. It may depend on what your native language is. I've always wondered, like, for English speakers, we think of as Spanish as one of the easiest, if not the easiest language. Do French people think of Spanish as the easiest language? Do Greeks? Do Russians? Right? Do Germans? Actually, so you guys are from other countries. What do you think of as the easiest? What does your country think of as the easiest foreign language to learn? I'm just kind of curious. Because for Americans, for English speakers, it's absolutely Spanish. For Americans, we always think Spanish is the easiest. Not easy, but easiest for an Anglophone. French? I should have asked you where you're from. Exactly. Like Tamara says English is a German. English for the Netherlands. Yeah, tell me where you're from. But for Mike, I always forget, are you German? Okay, now Paula says as an English person, they think French is easier. English for a Quebecer, that's interesting. Now, Angelique, who's Belgian, French though says German. Is the most difficult. Yes, for Americans, we think of German as very hard too. Spanish, but you're Portuguese, of course. Spanish for a Francophone, interesting. French as an English person, that's interesting. We think of French as being pretty difficult here. Greek is hard. Chinese worse. Arabic I think is worse. Russian very hard, just like Greek. We think of as German as being difficult. Portuguese as an Italian. That's interesting. Yeah. Spanish pronunciation close to Japanese. I felt the same way. I felt a lot of Japanese pronunciation was like Spanish to me. I thought the same thing. Yeah. As a French teacher in England, Spanish is the most popular language in schools here. That's interesting. Okay. Well, there's more countries. I mean, for French now, you could learn French, but for the continent, does it really matter anymore? And you've got French-speaking Africa, but that's very niche, although Spanish, too, is very niche, too, right? I mean, although in Spain, in England, maybe you think of retiring in Spain, so who knows, right? Sasha, come on. Oh, my God. Yeah, so it kind of depends. It depends. When some other countries that speak English struggle with our English. Yeah, well, what do you mean, Paula? English for Ukrainians? Oh, that's interesting. See, because I never think of English as being an easy language. You know what I mean? But I don't know. But I think of English as, because I have foreign friends, I think of all the exceptions, like all the crazy exceptions we have in English, you know? Mandarin has got to be, Chinese has got to be horrible. Arabic, I tried a little bit of Arabic. It was way too hard. You know? Your Polish and English was easy. Interesting. Really, for Poland, that's interesting. Very interesting. For a Greek, she says English is the easiest language. Wow. That's very interesting. Yeah, well, Americans have different names than the Brits for things. True. But also, but the grammar is very hard. People were saying like the prepositions, which I never thought of. But when you think about the prepositions, you know, in, on, under, up, down, like fall in, fall out, fall under, like fall out, fall in, right? Troops fall in, fall out. Oh, my friend and I had a fight. We had a real fallout. Fall under? Oh, fall under. Well, that would fall under this category. That's not fall, right? Step on, step in, step up. Step to it. I mean, there's like those kind of words where you put a different thing after it and it changes the meaning. I mean, oh my God, I can't even imagine. You know, it just, ugh. Anyway, I would find that very hard. Kevin says, I live in a city with mixed Latinos, Dominicans, Mexicans, Boricua. Boricua are Puerto Ricans, right? Guatemala and more. It's not one size fits all. Yeah, of course. Sorry, Zia was saying, it's not Indo-European possessing a unique adjunctive structure. Oh, you're confusing me here, Zia. Yeah, the slang, that I know. Structure that relies heavily on attaching multiple suffixes. The slang is funny. I was in Puerto Rico. And we're going to stop shortly, but I was in Puerto Rico years ago for vacation, and I met a guy from Chile, very nice guy from Chile, really sweet guy. And we're talking, and he didn't know English, which was great because we could speak Spanish. And and I was asking him, oh, like, what's it like as a Chilean? He goes, oh my God, they're Spanish. He goes, it's so hard. Even he had a hard time understanding them at first. After a couple of days, I could understand, but he had a hard time. And he goes, I'm talking to some girl, and she was asking me what I thought of Puerto Rico. And I said, he said, me gusta mucho, pero los bichos son tan grandes. He said, I like it a lot, but the insects are huge here. And she goes, ¿Cómo? Apparently in Puerto Rico, the word for insect that we use in the rest of Latin America means this on a guy, that part of his body. And he told her, but they're so big here. And he goes, I got so embarrassed, I didn't even know what to say. But I love that. Pero los bichos son tan grandes. Oh God, I will never forget that story. It just cracked me up so much. Hungarian. Okay. Oh, I see. Hungarian. I didn't know what you were talking about, Zia. I got it now. Yeah. I just thought that was awesome. That was awesome. Well, I told you guys when last story. I've told this before, but I'll tell it again. And then we're going to sign off. I'm taking Virgin Atlantic to England, to the UK, to go to the G20 or whatever it was that was in Scotland. And this is in 2007. And we're flying over. I actually was flying back on 7/7, which was the day of the terrorist attacks, and we were stuck in Scotland, and then we were stuck. It was really fascinating, actually. But in any case, we're flying over, and I'm on Virgin Atlantic. And, I didn't love Virgin Atlantic, but the stewardesses were very nice, the flight attendants. And the flight attendants all dressed impeccably, tall, all blonde, hair perfectly back, tied up and perfectly back, the little hats on, very pretty, very nice. But also very, a lot of them had, I would say, very common British accents. I don't know what to call it. Very regular people British accents. No, my flight attendant had a, really? Kind of a, I can't do British accents, but I say common, but meaning like the common man, right? And lovely woman, great woman. Thank you, Terry. So we're taking off, and I had a little pack with me with my, because I was covering it as a blogger. I had a notepad with a pen and stuff for journalism, had it tied around my waist for traveling, right? A little pack around my waist. And I had the exit row. I had the, what do you call the exit row that thank you for the gift, Just Max. The row that has the door. But the big door on like a 747. So not the exit row, that big row by the food where you've got 8 feet in front of you. Well, because there was 8 feet in front. Oh, no, but it's the exit door. It's not the emergency exit. It's the huge, 8 feet in front of you. Well, because I had that, there was no seat in front of me. So she said, oh, I've got to put your bag away. Just ask me for it after the flight or after we take off. So she takes my bag, we take off, we hit cruising altitude, and I said, excuse me, you had taken away my fanny pack, could I get it back? Your what? I said, my fanny pack. She goes, what? I said, the bag that goes around my waist. She goes, oh, you mean your bum bag? Oh yes, your bum bag. And I said, and I thought about it, and I went, oh, I guess that makes sense, because in American English, fanny is your butt. It's hey, stop. Fanny is your butt. It is your ass. But it's the way we call it when talking to little children. Did you fall on your fanny? You might say it to a 3 or 4-year-old child. An adult American would not say fanny, right? Did you fall on your fanny? So a fanny pack, and in England, a bum is also your butt, I believe, right? So a bum bag, a fanny pack. It's literally the same thing. And I said, I guess that makes, or tush, and we'll say tush as well. We'll say, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, bum bag. And she goes, you know what you said? I said, no, what do you mean? She goes, well, in the UK, fanny is a very bad word. And I said, what did I say? She looks around, she goes, mind you, very tall, beautiful, blonde, perfect hair, the hat, the uniform, like this flight attendant looking like she's out of the movies, okay? Foreign accent, lovely woman. And I said, what did I say? She goes, well, in England, fanny is this on a woman. My flight attendant. I turned beet red and said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She goes, no, it's really funny. She goes, girls, you've got to hear this one. She goes in and she starts telling the other flight attendants in front of me. And she's telling them, and they're all having the laugh of their lives at the American using fanny pack. Oh, God. It was the funniest damn thing. But I was like, but I love that. This. Imagine a flight attendant going, it's this on a woman. And you're going, oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, as is, I don't know what that is. Is that actually sign? Is that actually sign language? Get out of here. Is that truly sign language for it? That's very funny. I do not know sign language. No, I know. What is it? This, I think. Is that thank you, I think? Oh, no. This is thank you. Is this love or something? What is that? Or that's yes. This is yes. And then this is, or is this thank you? Oh, this is sorry? I don't know sign language. Yeah, I do not know sign language. Wait, which is which? Which is which? Which is this? Okay, sorry. The lips are what? When you do this, it means, since now we're going to get our, that's thank you. Okay, that's what I thought. This is thank you. And then the chest thing you said is sorry? Or what is the circular? Oh, so this is sorry. This is sorry, and this is thank you. Okay. I thought this was thank you, but that kind of makes sense. Thank you. It feels like this. Because like in Mali and some of the African countries, they'll do this. Like for, was it Mali or was it Morocco? I'm forgetting now. Where they kind of do this thing. They'll shake your hand, but they'll kind of do this for thank you. Or for greeting you too. Anyway, yeah, rubbing the chest is sorry. Okay. Anyway, it was very funny. But yes, so it was very funny. But the difference with the Brits and us, there are some words, French too, though. Like French, I never even want to say the word kiss in French because it just freaks me out. I'm just afraid I'm going to screw it up because it's like a kiss is a baiser, to F-U-C-K is baiser. And I'm like, I just don't even want to say it. I'm afraid there's a different pronunciation or something. I'm just afraid I'm going to screw it up. Oh yeah, shukran. Yeah, but embrasser. I guess that's true. Embrasser is the safer one. Yeah, well, bisou. Ouais, un bisou. Yeah. Snog I've heard before. Yes. Oh, that's interesting. Mike is posting, Supreme Leader of the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan has reportedly been killed along with senior Taliban commanders in Pakistani airstrikes targeting headquarters. A couple Pakistani airstrikes. That's interesting. Bisou. Okay, I'll stick with bisou. Because isn't it baiser as well? Or am I fucking that up too now? Literally. I thought it was un baiser. No, un baiser. See, even worse. I'm not a bisou. I'm sticking with bisou. Oh, un baiser is a fuck, but is it un baiser? I thought baiser was also a kiss though, like un baiser, or no? Or is it always F-U-C-K? See? Yeah, see, this is the problem. Yes, what though? I'm sticking with bisou in the first. It's the noun for kiss, but is it une? What's the noun? What's the gender of the noun for kiss? Is it une? Or it's un. For the noun? That's what I thought. I was going to say. I thought it was un baiser. Ouais, un baiser and baiser. Exactly. That's why I don't like to say it, because I thought it was un baiser. Okay, voila. That's what I thought. Yeah, that's why I don't like to use it. Exactly. It scares me when I use it that I'm going to screw it up. I told you my other favorite one, I'll tell you, okay, we're going to stop after this. My other favorite story was I'm 19 years old. I'm studying abroad in Paris. And I spent a year there learning French in college, graduate school, or college. And I go to the butcher, as one does in Paris. And I fell in love with pâté in France. I'd never had pâté before. And duck pâté is wonderful. So I go to the butcher, and I ask him if he has any duck pâté. And I ask him, and I say, pardon, monsieur, est-ce que vous avez pâté de canard? Now, in French, the word for duck is canard. C-A-N-A-R-D. I did not say canard. I said connard. with an O instead of an A. That's because in French, connard is a slang word that's very vulgar. I never quite know the translation. It colloquially, it kind of means asshole, even though it doesn't mean asshole. But it's used the way we would use that word, a-hole, right? It doesn't mean that. It means something else. I think it means something worse. But they use it the way we would use that. It's very vulgar. And you'd say like, hey, connard to somebody, right? And I literally said pâté connard. And and a big fat butcher, he broke into hysterics. And I said, I remember I looked at him and I said, qu'est-ce que j'ai dit? I said, what did I say? And he goes, you said pâté de connard. He said, it's pâté de canard. And I realized it. I said, oh my God. I said, mind you, Paris too. This is also 40 years ago. Paris too. You're talking to the butcher. You don't use words like that even jokingly with the butcher, right? I mean, these are, bonjour monsieur, comment ça va? It's France. It's very polite, right? And he laughed and he goes, no, monsieur. He goes, that's the funniest thing anybody has ever said to me. And I said, okay, well, I'm glad I made your day, but oh my God. That was just the best freaking thing. Oh, he was this fat guy in hysterics. Well, I didn't really call him an asshole. I said, do you have any pâté of asshole? Basically. And he knew immediately what I meant. That's why he thought it was hilarious. But I love that. The foreigner, the American came in and said, do you have any, although it doesn't mean asshole, like I said, but it kind of does. But do you have any pâté of asshole? But yeah, so it's very scary. And or the other thing, I saw a Greek video. I'm going to stop with this. A Greek video the other day. Fallen's still here, and I sort of forgot that I thought this was Russian. It's Greek, I guess. The word malako, which meaning soft. I thought that was Russian. I guess it's Greek, but you've got to be careful because malako in Greek is like another vulgar word in Greek that we use all the time. But I was thinking it was Russian too. But you've got to be careful because it's like a word in Greek you use among friends, but you would not use in polite company. You would never use it. So that's another one I'm never going to like. Is it Russian? But is it soft in Russian? No, malako means something else in Russian, doesn't it? American? Or not? It doesn't mean soft in Russian though, does it? Isn't it a color? Is it in Russian? What is it? It is milk. I thought it was milk. You know what's funny? In the back of my head, I thought milk. That's very funny. Okay, it's milk in Russian, yeah. So it is a Russian word too, but it means soft in Greek. Yeah, malako is milk. Okay, I thought so. It's funny. That was sticking in my head. That was there, and I was like, I don't think it's milk. Yep. So yeah, in Greek, it's soft. It's funny. There are a couple words in Russian that are Greek. They're like Greek words, but it means something different in Greek. Yeah. Anyway, very funny. All right, guys. I'm going to go. Thank you for joining. It's 7:30. We've been going an hour and a half. I will be back tomorrow. Thank you for the gifts. Otherwise, come back tomorrow night. Oh, it's Thursday already. Saturday, we've got our special show for the monthly subscribers. Oh, thank you, Max. I always forget. I don't remember what that is. Is that a wig or is it a goat? That's a wig, isn't it? It doesn't show me anymore. That the goat? Oh, okay. Which goat would you like, Max? Before we go, thank you for that. Remember Saturday, which goat would you like? Saturday morning is our special show I do for my favorite. I do like the Halloween. We do the Halloween one a lot, but it is my favorite. One moment here. Where'd Halloween go? Halloween goat, where are you hiding? Where are you hiding? If not, I'm going to give you one of the other ones. Where did I put him? Oh, here he is. He was blending in with the table. Ah! Yes, Subscriber Live is on Saturday. Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, U.S. I will do a special live. Thank you for that, Max. A special live for the paid monthly subscribers. That's super fans on TikTok, members, whatever it's called on YouTube. Same thing for Substack if it works correctly. Oh yeah, embarazada, that's another problem. Yeah, embarazada in Spanish does not mean embarrassed, it means pregnant. Oh, there's other problems in Spanish too. I'm hot. You want to be careful with that one too. I don't even know how to say I'm hot. Tengo calor. Tengo calor? No, I think in Spanish. You don't want to say the other one. The other one means I'm hot. Like, woo! Oh my God. I've been here, Juan. I'm here. I'm just, TikTok. TikTok decides when it wants to show you that I exist or not. But I'm still doing these Monday to Friday, 6 o'clock. Tengo calor. See? But tengo calor, no? I think so. Yeah. No, tengo caliente, no. You wouldn't say that. You said tengo calor, I think. But you wouldn't say estoy or soy. You would say estoy caliente. Ah, you would. Oh, interesting. Estoy caliente. Okay. Because estoy is a state, whereas soy caliente would be something else entirely. Está caliente, sí. Okay, yeah. Tengo calor. Tengo calor is what I think of. Yeah. All right. Bye, guys. Means you're hot, but that's what I was going to say. Estoy caliente means I'm hot and bothered. Would soy caliente be I'm hot, like, tss? If you said soy caliente? Just does it mean anything? I'm trying to remember in Spanish. Would it mean I'm hot, like, I'm hot? If you said soy, or does it not mean anything in Spanish? That's what I'm thinking. It's a permanent state. So soy caliente. Oh, right? But estoy caliente would mean I'm horny. Again, the problem's in Spanish. Thus the reason you say, I have heat, I have warmth, meaning I'm hot. Do you know what you're talking about? Oh, okay. Interesting. All right, we'll do a language show another day too. Yeah, estoy caliente. Well, that you said an embarazada. Exactly. Is it vergüenza? Vergüenza is like shame. The word for embarrassed, you wouldn't say, tengo vergüenza. I'm forgetting now for I'm embarrassed. Real quick, and then I'll let you guys go for Spanish. Vergogno? No, that's Italian. Vergüenza. But how do you say it in Spanish? Real quick. Letting our Spanish tango. No, that sounds bad. Oh, that's funny. Avec embrasse. But so, what do you say for for embarrassed in Spanish? Just real quick here. Yeah, vergüenza is shame. I know that. That's what I was going to say. Vergüenza is shame. But what do you say for... Yeah, I was going to say, I know enough Spanish to know that wasn't the word. But what do you say for in Spanish if I'm embarrassed? I'm going to know this as soon as you say it, but I don't remember. Do they really say that? Really? Hey, I hear you. Stop. Oh, my God. Stop. You actually said tengo pena. That sounds terrible. That's another one I'm not going to say. You can say that? Tengo pena. That just sounds terrible. Estoy avergonzado. Wow, that sounds very heavy. Avergonzado. I can't even say that without sounding Argentine. Avergonzado. Wow. That sounds tough. Pena's common, so tengo pena. Okay. Tengo pena. Okay. I'm embarrassed. Interesting. Yep, they did not allow the press in with Hillary. No, but it makes me sound, it's okay, yeah, exactly. It makes me worry it's the other word. Me da mucho pena. Okay. Interesting. I'll try to remember that. Yeah, I always think of vergüenza, but vergüenza is, okay, vergüenza, like what shame, Anyway, me da mucha pena. All right. Thanks, guys. I'm going to sign off. Discord, dog's getting bitchy. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, dog, I got you. Substack, you're going in a second with YouTube. Getting to TikTok momentarily. All right, good night, guys.